Indeed, this is a very exciting moment to me as a relatively new chief executive of the council, in the sense that well, I'm only 8 months in office now, and it is very exciting for us to self-reflect and see how we align with the international standards here, and especially the regional standards, the African guidelines and standards on quality assurance, which are very critical for us to make sure that we actually align our undertakings locally here with what the region dictates. So it has been a very exciting moment in the sense that bringing the team together, forming the steering committee, and also coming up with clear terms of reference on what they need to do and supporting them throughout the process of developing the self-assessment report. It was something which was very challenging, exciting, and also engaging in the sense that we also had to bring together stakeholders so that what we provide as a self-reflection should actually be a good reflection in terms of the actual realities on the ground, on how we see ourselves. Indeed, the process was also resource intensive in the sense that we had to gather certain resources which needed financials for us to be well prepared for the review. Despite all these challenges, I must say that this is a worthwhile experience because in all the undertakings that we have done, we are also going through a learning curve, trying to understand how, the region should actually, be performing in terms of quality assurance and our role as a CHE locally and, regionally to ensure that our standards, our guidelines, our education system in higher education, and also our policies, tools and everything that we utilize to implement quality assurance in higher education is well placed and also adequately, responds to what the guidelines and standards in Africa dictates. There is one key word which is very much important in all this, and that is harmonization. Harmonization in the sense that all the region agencies should ensure that their systems are harmonized. And that is one critical thing that we have considered as we were working on the documentation with respect to the external review. So the standards that we have regionally, if we are fully aligned to them, we will be able to ensure, mobility of our graduates and mobility of, students within our education system going into other countries to further their studies. Issues of credit accumulation and transfer are easily implemented when we are harmonized. So with the standards and guidelines on quality assurance in Africa, I believe that that is a foundation and the basic tool that is essential for us to ensure the critical harmonization. And let me also indicate that through this harmonization, we see so much relevance enhanced locally because through this harmonization, we are able to also align ourselves with, the required expertise and skills locally and internationally. And recently, I must indicate that we've had meetings with the stakeholders where we were reflecting on how higher education in Lesotho could actually, be more relevant to address our local needs, while we also maintain our international presence. So these standards have been utilized as a key instrument as we are assessing ourselves to ensure that what we have been aspiring locally should also be realized through this exercise that we are undertaking today. So we believe that at the end of the day, through the report that we will get, we will be able to improve our operations, and the planning that we have, considering the recommendations that will emerge from this particular initiative, will enhance us to develop more robust plans dealing with internal quality assurance of CHE Lesotho as a quality assurance agency to ensure that it is more aligned, to ensure that we have more impact in the region, and also to ensure that indeed there is more trust and credibility in the provision of higher education programs in Lesotho. This harmonization is very critical in the sense that when we have one standard way of dealing with accreditation and institutional audit, we will also enhance the way that our students are actually, transferring from one country to another, mobility within programs. And at the same time, I must indicate that this harmonization that is done through this particular project will also ensure that we have an enhanced knowledge base in Africa, where we have contextual understanding of how accreditation, how institutional audit, and also how critical components of research, teaching and learning, and community development should consider the indigenous knowledge that we have in Africa, while we have the same understanding of how quality assurance must be undertaken. So these are things that I believe are very much important, and I would call upon all agencies to plan accordingly, because this exercise is not only resource intensive and also, in terms of what is required to put in place, although we have support from HAQUA 3, which we so much appreciate. But at the same time, we should make sure that we provide enough time for preparation and to also do the sensitization, which is very critical for the local stakeholders, such that out of this initiative, we can get the best results. So I encourage all African quality assurance agencies to come forward, raise your hands, be mindful that this is important, and be willing to be the next on the line in engaging in this kind of exercise. Self-reflection is very much important, but what is also important is to hear from our peers and also to hear from people who are experienced in other countries on how we can improve so that we have more impact that we need for the African